In this video, I'm going to share with you why dopamine control is actually the easiest way to get rich. Now, when we get to 30,000 subs on YouTube, I'll give away $2,000. All you have to do to win that money is to watch the video until the end, to subscribe, and to share it with a friend. And I also have a gift for you. In the description of this video, you will find a free training where I show you step by step how I went from zero to over $1,200 per day with 95% in profit. And right now, a few more spots have opened up for the free consultation call with me, where together we come up with a game plan for you to go from zero to 5K plus per month with your business in 90 days. The links are in the description. The first thing I really want to share with you is that the reason why most people don't succeed, it's not because of lack of time, skills, or even intelligence. It's literally because they can't focus. So in today's world, we have endless distractions around us. And what you really need to understand is that for your brain, reaching for your phone and scrolling on social media, it's always going to be much more interesting as opposed to doing the work that is perceived as high effort or boring. So as you can see, for your brain, these activities, eating junk food, watching Netflix, being on your phone, going and watching, these dirty sites, playing games, it's so much more fun than, just being at your computer chair and doing the boring work. At least your brain thinks it's boring. Because let's be honest, it is much easier to consume than it is to produce. And the problem with your brain is that, yes, there is the prefrontal cortex, the part at the front right here, that is responsible for logical decisions, for like rational thinking, but that part of your brain, it is much more recent than what people call the lizard brain. That's the part of your brain that is responsible for everything that happens right now. Because the goal of your brain is not to help you to reach your goals in 10 years. The goal of your brain, it's literally to help you to survive right now. And so these activities, because they trigger a lot of dopamine, your brain loves them. Like for example, when you eat sugary food or like junk food in general, it's full of calories, full of sugar, full of fat. Your brain loves it because it tells your brain, hey, we're going to survive with this. And so your brain wants more and more of it. But the issue is when you fall for these activities constantly, you cannot focus. And that is why you can't succeed. It's not because you lack the time, the skills, or the intelligence. A lot of people say, oh, but I don't have the time to start a business. I don't have the time to apply the knowledge and to, become successful. A lot of people say, but I don't have the time to start a business. I work a full-time job. Well, let me show you something. Busy does not equal productive. Studies have shown that the average worker spends 2 to 4 hours a day actually working. And that's for 8-hour workdays, so for most office jobs. So as you can see here, the average worker spends an hour a day browsing non-work related topics. And then half of the people say they have missed a time-sensitive meeting or message because they were distracted from work. So being busy doesn't mean you're being productive. And most of my customers, when they came to me, they were already working a full-time job. Some of them were students with a job, and on top of that, they were professional athletes, but they still found the time to build their business because for them, it was a priority. I really want you to understand that everything in today's world is literally designed to steal your attention. So social media, TV, games, even food delivery apps, they all compete for your attention. That's because your attention is your most precious asset. Where attention goes, energy flows. The goal of all of these platforms is that you only use their platform. Netflix doesn't want you to go and to play games on Steam. Steam doesn't want you to go and to watch Netflix shows. Netflix doesn't want you to go on Facebook or TikTok on Instagram, and YouTube doesn't want you to go on TikTok and Facebook. Do you get what I'm trying to say? They all fight for your attention. And so, as you can see here, I put some screenshots of some study findings, and on average, people spend 3 hours and 15 minutes on their phone each day. And right here, it says that individuals check their phones an average of 58 times per day. I think it's actually way more than that. I think that this number is way understated. Now, Netflix says that subscribers spend an average of 2 hours per day using the platform. So it's like if you spend 3 hours on your phone and 2 hours on Netflix, it's 5 hours per day. If you even just took half of that time into building a profitable business and you followed a proven step-by-step process, in 90 days your life would never be the same. But hey, what's the root cause of procrastination? This is really important for you to understand. In my experience, a lot of people procrastinate because they lack clarity on what they need to do to succeed. So lack of clarity creates a sort of fog that only brings doubt, and doubt kills productivity, and it killed more dreams than anything else. So as you can see here, I put a picture of myself back when I was only 17. And here on these pictures, I was like 21, 22. And here basically, I had 0% clarity, so 100% procrastination. You've got to look at it, it's like, it's always going to transfer to one area. So if you only have 50% clarity, you're going to have 50% procrastination. So if you want 0% procrastination, you need 100% clarity. And so here I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to become successful. I knew I wanted this kind of life, but I didn't really know how to go about achieving it. And that's why I lacked clarity. So it's not so much about knowing what you want, because I'm sure you do know what you want deep down, but it's knowing how to go about it. Whereas here, at 21 to 22, because I somewhat cracked the code, I've got 100% clarity, and I know exactly what I need to do to keep moving forward. And so I don't procrastinate nearly as much. Like maybe I procrastinate, if we're being honest, 1% of the time. But I'm not even joking. That's how you eliminate procrastination. Knowing what you want, what's your why. Because let's face it, you don't get up early just to work because, oh, it's fun. Like sometimes, yes, it's fun, but a lot of the time, it's not that fun. It's just work. However, the experiences it allows you to live, that is fun. And that makes it all worth it. And then the other thing, like I said, is to have a proven step-by-step process to follow. Because that is where clarity comes from. If you've got the why and the how, the execution becomes literally almost effortless. So there is a habit you need to get rid of in order to actually get stuff done. You do not want to touch your phone for the first 2 to 6 hours of the day. And you want to go as far as putting your phone on grayscale mode. Nowadays, most phones have a setting where you can activate what's called bedtime mode or simply grayscale mode. And so as you can see, what it does is that it turns your screen all gray. And now, even if you have notifications, it doesn't look as enticing. You don't necessarily want to click on it. But here, as you can see, that's what most people do. Like they wake up, the first thing they do, they grab their phone to turn off their alarm. But because they have all their notifications turned on, they see TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, text messages, whatever, and they click on everything. Yeah, of course, well, that's how you waste 30 minutes. And the worst part is, when you wake up, for most people, that's when you have the most amount of willpower and the most amount of mental energy. So you should be using this time to do deep, productive work, to do the most difficult tasks you need to do to grow your business. But instead, most people waste it on scrolling on their phone. Every single night at 9 p.m., my phone automatically turns gray. And then it only turns back to normal colors at noon. Because in the morning, I want to be really focused, really productive, and I don't want anyone or anything to disturb my focus. Now, when it comes to habit number 2, you want to start your day with the most difficult task. So you want to identify the 20% of actions that bring you 80% of results and double down on those. So for example, like I told you, you wake up, instead of checking your phone like literally 99% of people, your phone is on grayscale mode. It's on airplane mode. You don't even touch it. It's in a drawer. And then you focus on the 20% of actions that give you 80% of the results. And if you can do this, you're going to make so much money. You're going to be so successful. Most people won't even believe it. They'll just call you lucky. That's how it goes. But nobody saw you, at 6 a.m. working hard in the shadows. Nobody saw it. And so for me, for example, it's typically making content and then taking sales calls. If I do these two activities, I'm going to make millions. If I don't, I won't. It's that simple. And so identify for you what those activities are. Now, the third habit I'd like to share with you is that if you're focusing on multiple business models at the same time, you want to ditch all of them and just pick one. People who can't focus on one thing, they end up getting sidetracked and they become a part of somebody else's plan. You do not want to end up like that. Most people, when they follow the traditional path, they go to university, they get massively in debt, they don't question anything at all, and then they go work for a big corporation who doesn't care about them, that make them empty promises, which they have no obligations to keep. They save $200 per month to invest it in the stock market, hoping that one day they might finally be able to retire with a bit of cash to actually enjoy their life. And so what most people do is that they focus on dropshipping, then they try affiliate marketing. They didn't get a sale within 1 week, so they start a YouTube channel. And then, they just want to do something else, and something else, and something else. They do this and do that. And so they never reach the goal. Us, what we do, it's this. We go straight for the goal. We execute on a proven step-by-step process, and as you can see, we reach the goal much faster. Like that can take us, for example, I don't even know, let's say 1 to 4 weeks, we get our first client, whereas for them, it's been 6 months. 6 months plus, and they still haven't done anything. Now, it's very important that you do not fall for forced productivity. This is a key lesson I really want you to understand. Being busy, like I said, is not the same thing as being productive. So back in the day, morning routines became extremely popular. People would wake up at 5 a.m., take a cold shower, read, exercise, do some yoga, meditate, drink some green detox juice or whatever, and then they would start work at 11 a.m. because they had been doing all these crazy habits for like 4 or 5 hours. And so here is a falsely productive schedule. You wake up, let's say at 6, you take a cold shower, then you meditate, you journal, you have breakfast, and then you work at 9. Sometimes people even do it at 10. Then you have lunch, you work, and at 5 you stop work, and then you have Netflix, games, etc., and then you go to bed. If you do this, you can make decent money. Absolutely. But if you want to make real big money, you've got to follow the boring millionaire schedule. So for example, for me, wake up, make tea, coffee, and you work, then you have lunch, work, dinner, and then you can just have some reading or something which is relaxing, talking to people you love. Nothing hyper stimulating like Netflix, games, etc. Then you go to bed, and then you're going to make a lot of money. And you may be wondering, why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do this boring stuff? Why can't we have Netflix, games, and etc.? It's actually for one simple reason. When you're watching Netflix, your brain doesn't realize that the things happening on the screen are not even real. The same applies to video games. And what you don't realize is that your subconscious mind is a problem-solving mechanism. So even when you're not playing the games or watching Netflix, subconsciously your brain is thinking about how to solve the intrigue in your Netflix show, like how to figure out who's the murderer, or even in the games that you play. In the background, your brain is going to be thinking, how do I go to the next level? How do I fix this issue, etc. And the problem is, we want your brain to use this brain power, this energy, to focus on solving business problems and helping you to make more money. Because if you make more money, it's going to improve every aspect of your life. You'll be able to provide for the people that you love, travel whenever you want, do literally anything you want. That's why we want to use this precious energy for work and not for Netflix. Now, obviously, you cannot do this boring millionaire schedule literally all the time. So what I like to do is that, for example, for 6 to 10 days, I do this boring schedule, and then I give myself 1 to 2 days off, where I can just do whatever I want. The Netflix, the games, having some junk food, whatever. Because obviously, the more intensity you put into your work, you're not going to be able to do it for longer. But in my experience, this has worked so much better with obviously, doing it intensely and then recovering, as opposed to having this falsely productive schedule, but then you barely make an inch of progress. A lot of the time when people feel burnt out, funnily enough, it's because they're not doing enough. So for example, let's say we have this chart right here. Here it's results, here it's effort. And let's say that to get amazing results, you need to be at this level of effort. Most people, they do, for example, this in terms of effort. So of course they feel so goddamn burnt out. But if you did this, for example, you would do enough, you would work hard for sure, but you would do enough to get great results, so it wouldn't even feel like burnout. Here it does, because the amount of work you put in, it's not enough to get incredible results. Now be honest with yourself. If you already knew how to make 10K plus per month online, you would have done it already. Which is why right now, I've recorded a free training where I share with you how I went from 0 to over $1,200 per day, step by step, with my own consulting business. It's literally with 95% in profit. That way, all you've got to do is to copy me. And right now, a few more spots have opened up for the free consultation call with me, where together, we come up with a game plan for you to go to $5,000 plus per month with your business in the next 90 days. Now, be quick if you're interested, because our limited spots fill up extremely quickly, and I don't know for how long I'm going to keep making this offer. With that being said, I will see you on the other side.